everyone! If you've been following the beta updates, you already know Cyrene just received her third round of adjustments. And honestly, the player base is not taking it well. When I first saw the patch notes, I thought, okay, these look like improvements. But then I checked the community discussions, and it's pure chaos. People are genuinely angry, not just disappointed. So I'm going to walk you through exactly what happened and why this has become such a controversial situation. Save up to 25% on Aniric shards at lootbar.gg. To celebrate version 3.6, you can grab the 6,480 Aniric shard pack, normally $100 in-game, for just $72 on Lootbar. That's 81 pulls, almost guaranteeing you a 5-star for your account while saving you $28. The process is super simple. Just enter your UID, select your server, and receive your crystals in under a minute. No password needed. Lootbar uses official recharge channels, has hundreds of 5-star reviews, and partnerships with several big content creators that you probably know, so everything is completely safe. Lootbar also supports PlayStation 5 and Xbox top-ups. Click the link in the description to get your discount. New users get an extra 10% discount while returning users get 5%. Before we get started on Cyrene, we have a new code available that gives you 50 Stellar Jades. I've included the code and redemption link in the description, so don't forget to redeem it in time. First things first, let's be clear about something. Cyrene did receive buffs. Her numbers went up in multiple areas. If you just look at the raw statistics, she's objectively stronger than she was in version 2. But that's exactly what's causing the backlash. Players didn't need bigger numbers. They needed fixes to how she actually plays, and that didn't happen. Starting with her light cone, the effect didn't change at all. It's exactly the same. But the last line, the last part of the light cone effect, got a huge reduction in the multiplier. When her special form has both effects that the light cone gives, it used to increase both effects by 120%, but now it's down to 60%. So literally cut in half. Besides that though, we got some changes to her kit that are actually pretty interesting. Her skill got buffed because it used to cause an extra instance of true damage equal to 20% of the original damage, and now it's 24%, so that's a straight buff right there. In her talent, they added a new effect where when Cyrene has 24 memory stacks, her ultimate can be activated. And before it ended there, but now it says her ultimate can be activated and all debuffs on her are removed, which is actually really nice. In her special form, the first ability got buffed too because it used to deal ice damage equal to 50% of max HP, and now it's 60%. So, another buff there. And the buff she gives to the Remembrance Trailblazer got way better because they added that it's effective for the entire battle. So you buff the Trailblazer once at the start and it stays active the whole fight without needing to reapply it. They also increased the multiplier from 60% to 72% of Cyrene's crit rate transferring to the Trailblazer, which is honestly pretty solid. Now let's talk about Mydei because honestly, I don't even know if this is a buff or nerf. It's complicated. First, they made it single-use, so once Mydei uses it, it's gone and you need to reapply the buff again. But here's what's interesting. Besides buffing him and increasing damage, she now removes all crowd control debuffs from Mydei. So when you activate your ultimate with Cyrene and choose Mydei as the target, first she removes all crowd control debuffs on him. I mean, look, what are the chances your Mydei gets hit with crowd control in the first place? Probably never, right? But anyway, if you use this when he's in his vengeful state, he automatically uses his enhanced attack, and the crit damage increase goes from 60% to 80%. And if he's not in vengeful state, it just advances his action by 100%. Castorice's buff is pretty simple. It's also effective for the entire battle now. So one and done. And at the end, when there's 2 or fewer enemies on the field, when her special form is summoned, the damage multiplier additionally increases by 0.48%, which is a small boost but still nice. Anaxa's buff though? They literally threw the old one in the trash and made a completely new one, like they just started from scratch. And the old version said when used on Anaxa, it recovers 1 skill point for the team and advances his action by 100%, or makes him act immediately. Plus, it used to increase his skill damage by 40%, attack by 60%, and skill instances by 3 for 1 turn. All of that is completely gone now, and the new version says it increases skill instances by 3 for 1 turn. And next time Anaxa uses his ability, he gains True Knowledge, which increases attack of all Erudition Path characters by 60%, and their skill damage by 40% until Anaxa's next turn starts. So it's a totally different effect focused on team support instead. So Phainon's buff is after her Memo Sprite skill. Phainon gains 6 core flames plus eternal ignition when transforming. Now, when transforming, if core flames exceed 12, then for each extra point, his crit damage increases by 12%, up to a maximum of 72%, which can get pretty wild. The rest didn't change except the very end where they nerfed the multiplier, and that's a pretty significant nerf. Evernight's buff had a nerf in the multiplier, but they added new effects to compensate. They nerfed the main multiplier because it used to increase damage her Memo Sprite skill damage by 48%, and now it's only 18%. However, they added a new line where the crit damage increase effect is additionally boosted by 12% of Evernight's own crit damage. And finally, Cyrene's self-buff, which is probably one of the coolest changes. When her Memo Sprite uses her attack, she additionally deals ice damage equal to 60% of max HP to a random enemy, which is up from 50%. So that's a nice damage increase. But the completely new effect is that after Cyrene uses her ultimate, or when her Memo Sprite is summoned, she immediately gains a story stack, and when story reaches 3 stacks, she consumes all of them to immediately gain an extra turn and automatically use her attack, which gives her way more action. Then there's the team synergy situation that's almost comical. Cyrene is specifically designed to work with Chrysos Heirs like Phainon, Mydei, Castorice, and Elysia. Sounds perfect on paper, but every single pairing has weird friction points. When you run her with Phainon, his ultimate charges so ridiculously fast that Cyrene's buffs arrive after he's already finished his damage rotation. With Mydei, she has this cleanse mechanic that's supposed to help him, except he's already immune to crowd control during his vendetta state, making that entire part of her kit completely wasted on him. Castorice works okay with her, but honestly, Cyrene just adds some damage without fundamentally changing how the team plays. There won't be any new Chrysos Heirs introduced after version 3.7. Think about what that means for Cyrene's future. Most support characters stay relevant because new DPS units keep coming out that can use their buffs. Ruin May and Sunday work with basically any team composition. Cyrene can't do that. She's locked into supporting this one specific group of characters, and that group isn't growing anymore. Once we move into version 4.0 with new regions and character archetypes, she might become the first limited support with a predetermined shelf life. That's honestly crazy when you consider how much investment these characters require. What makes this situation genuinely heartbreaking for a lot of players is the Elysia connection. Cyrene is clearly inspired by Elysia, who's one of the most beloved characters across all of Hoyoverse's games. People have been saving resources for months, deliberately skipping other banners because they wanted this character to be something special. Instead, they got a unit with absolutely gorgeous animations, but gameplay that feels terrible. So, V3 is definitely numerically stronger than before. The damage buffs are real. Her mechanics operate slightly smoother, and if you're planning to go for E2 anyway, she'll probably deliver solid performance. But for the majority of players who pull at E0, she's going to feel unresponsive with that delayed ultimate access and those restrictive team requirements. She works in specific Remembrance-focused compositions, but she lacks the flexibility that defines top-tier supports. With version 4.0 and a completely new region approaching, investing heavily in a support character that's locked behind E2 and designed for a finite character pool probably isn't the smartest move. Well, that's all for today's video. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next videos.